It is happening right now in the spiritual epicenter of the world, Jerusalem. And my friend, the silence from the mainstream media is deafening. While the world sleeps or distracts itself with political theater, something profound has shifted in the atmosphere over the holy city. At exactly 4:44 a.m. this morning, beneath the cold, pre-dawn sky, elite guards stationed at the Temple Mount, men trained for riots, terrorism, and conflict, witnessed something that bypassed their training and struck directly at their souls. They fell to their knees, not in submission to a human commander, but in absolute primal terror. A beam of light originating from no earthly source, no helicopter, no drone, no spotlight split. The sky directly over the most contested piece of real estate on planet Earth. We are talking about the holiest site in Judaism, the threshing floor of Araunah, the place where Solomon's temple once stood in all its gold-laden glory. The very geographic coordinate where the Bible explicitly states the final dramatic events of human history will unfold. Can you imagine being one of those guards? Standing there in the heavy silence of the night, your breath misting in the air, watching the darkness of the 4 o'clock hour, when suddenly the fabric of the sky tears open above you. But here is what sent chills cascading down my spine when the reports first reached me. It wasn't just the light. It was the specific timestamp of the encounter. 4:44 a.m. now. The skeptic might dismiss this as a coincidence of the clock. But stay with me, because by the end of this broadcast, you are going to understand why that specific time is absolutely extraordinary. You will see why the numbers themselves are screaming a message that the spiritual community cannot afford to ignore. The witnesses described the event in harrowing detail. These hardened security personnel were reportedly shaking uncontrollably hours later. Some were rendered mute by the shock. One witness described it poetically, stating it looked like heaven opening its eyes to look at the earth. Another noted that the light possessed physics-defying properties. It cast no shadow. It had no discernible source point. It was pure, concentrated radiance descending. It looked like the Shekinah glory, the heavy, dwelling presence of God that once filled the Holy of Holies. Why is this not on CNN? Why is the BBC silent? Because what happened at 4:44 a.m. connects to a narrative so profound, so biblically deep, and so disruptive to the secular worldview that the world is not ready to hear it. But you are here, you are watching this, and I believe you are here by divine appointment. Do you feel that pull in your spirit? That undeniable sense that we are navigating unprecedented waters? Let's reconstruct the scene. The sky over Jerusalem has witnessed thousands of years of human struggle. It has seen Babylonians, Romans, Crusaders, and Ottomans. It has seen temples rise and burn. But at 4:44 a.m., that same sky split open. This was not accompanied by the chaotic sounds of thunder or the flash of lightning. It was silent, pure, concentrated light. Witnesses said it was too bright to look at directly, yet it did not blind them. It was a light that revealed rather than obscured. The beam remained visible for approximately 7 minutes. 7. In biblical numerology, this is the number of perfection and completion. And during those 7 minutes, an atmospheric anomaly occurred that authorities are desperate to suppress. The temperature did not drop gradually as it does before dawn. It plummeted instantly. Sensors recorded a drop from 68 degrees Fahrenheit to 54 degrees Fahrenheit in a matter of seconds. It was as if the atmosphere itself was recoiling or bowing to a superior presence. Furthermore, we have footage. It is grainy, taken on trembling cell phones from rooftops and alleys within the old city, but it exists. When you have multiple angles, independent witnesses, and corroborating meteorological data, we move past the realm of mass hallucination and into the realm of historical fact. But the burning question remains, why? Why now? Why the Temple Mount? And why 4:44 a.m.? To understand this, we must look at the geography of prophecy. If you look at the layout of the Temple Mount, you see the Eastern Gate, also known as the Golden Gate. This gate is currently sealed, but it is the focal point of biblical prophecy regarding the glory of God. Open your Bible to Ezekiel 43 1-5. This is the key that unlocks the mystery of this morning's event. The text says, Then he brought me to the gate facing east. And behold, the glory of the God of Israel was coming from the east. His voice was like the roar of rushing waters, and the land was radiant with his glory. The glory of the Lord entered the temple through the gate facing east. The glory comes from the east. The sun rises in the east, and this beam of light was first visible breaking the horizon from the east. Ezekiel saw the glory depart in chapter 10 due to the nation's sin, hovering reluctantly before leaving. For thousands of years that glory has been absent. But the prophecy states it must return. Now, consider the time. 4:44 a.m. in Hebrew tradition. Numbers are not merely quantities, they are symbols. The number 4 is represented by the Hebrew letter dalet, which literally means door. It signifies a portal, an entrance, or a gateway. When you see 444, you are seeing a trinity of doors. It symbolizes the opening of heaven's door, earth's door, and the door of human consciousness simultaneously. This connects directly to Revelation 11:19. Then God's temple in heaven was opened, and within his temple was seen the ark of his covenant. The opening of the heavenly temple precipitates events on the earthly temple. We are witnessing a synchronization of the spiritual and physical realms. This event did not happen in a vacuum. If we look back, we see a pattern of acceleration that is undeniable. In 1967, during the Six-Day War, as Israeli paratroopers approached the Western Wall, reclaiming the site for the first time in 2 millennia, multiple soldiers reported a pillar of light standing over the mount. Rabbi Shlomo Goren remarked that he felt the Shekinah welcoming them home. In 2011, a similar phenomenon occurred at 3:33 a.m., where a light hovered over the dome of the rock before shooting upward. Skeptics called it a reflection. Believers called it a sign. In 2020, during the global lockdowns when the streets of Jerusalem were empty of tourists, night watchmen reported anomalous lights moving around the mount during the pre-dawn hours. Do you see the trajectory? The signs are moving from subtle to undeniable. We are living in the birth pains Jesus described in Matthew 24. Labor pains do not get easier. They get closer together and more intense. We are moving toward the delivery. This aligns perfectly with Daniel's prophecy of the 70th week. We know that the final 7 years of human history, the tribulation, revolve around the temple. Daniel 9:27 speaks of a covenant confirmed for 7 years and the cessation of sacrifice at the temple. For that to happen, the focus must return to this specific plot of land. The Temple Institute in Jerusalem has already prepared the sacred vessels. They have trained the Levitical priests. They have genetically bred the red heifer required for ritual purification. The physical preparations are complete. All that was missing was the spiritual signal. At 4:44 a.m. today, that signal arrived. I want to address the skeptics directly. Could this be a natural atmospheric phenomenon? Perhaps. God often utilizes the elements of his own creation, wind, rain, earthquake, to speak. But we must calculate the odds. What is the statistical probability of a rare atmospheric light pillar occurring exactly at 4:44 a.m., the number of the door, lasting exactly 7 minutes, the number of completion, directly over the specific coordinates of the Holy of Holies, at a time in history when the geopolitical and religious preparations for the Third Temple are at their peak? The odds are astronomical. It is not coincidence, it is convergence. Joel 2:28-30 promises that in the last days, God will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth. We are seeing the fulfillment of Joel's words in real time. So what does this mean for you? Knowledge without action is merely entertainment. If you believe, as I do, that heaven is opening its eyes to earth, then your life must reflect that reality. When the guards at the Temple Mount saw the light, 3 of them reportedly resigned immediately. Why? Because you cannot see the glory of God and go back to business as usual. You cannot witness the tearing of the veil and return to a mundane existence. They realized that their security clearance, their careers, and their worldly status meant nothing in the face of that light. This is a wake-up call for the church. Ephesians 5:14 cries out, "Wake up, sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you." That phrase, "Christ will shine on you," is literal. The glory is returning. If you are watching this and you are not right with God, do not let this moment pass. The door, 444, is open, but doors do not stay open forever. The time to enter the ark of safety is before the rain starts falling. If you have been living with 1 foot in the world and 1 foot in the kingdom, it is time to shift your weight. My friend, I am asking you to do something simple but significant. In the comments section below, I want you to write this exact phrase, "I see the signs." This is not just for the algorithm. It is a declaration. It is you identifying yourself as a watchman on the wall. It is you saying, "I am not asleep. I am paying attention." And finally, if you want to stay ahead of the mainstream narrative, if you want to understand these events through a biblical lens rather than a secular filter, you need to subscribe to this channel. Click the bell icon. Events are accelerating. There will be more signs, more wonders, and more news that the major networks will ignore. You need to be informed. The light at 444 a.m. was a warning and an invitation. The king is coming to his temple. The only question that remains is, are you ready to meet him? God bless you. Keep your eyes on the skies and keep your heart open to the truth.